Howdy hey, I'm Metraham and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be folding laundry in the background of this video while I tell you a story about the time that I could have potentially been kidnapped by a strange man in the Mall of America when I was 18 years old. So, for people who don't know, the Mall of America is the largest mall in the United States. I don't know how many stores it has, but it's a lot. I do know that somebody did the math a couple years ago that if you spend only 10 minutes in every single store, it'll take you 3 days to get through the entire mall. There is also an indoor amusement park with roller coasters and a Ferris wheel inside this mall. So just keep that in mind for how ginormous this mall is and how likely it is for people to get kidnapped in this mall. So, also, it's the time of the story takes place on October 31st, Halloween of 2020. So, COVID times, everybody's wearing masks. I had just turned 18 earlier in the month, and my dad is like, "You're an adult. Leave the house, go do something by yourself. You don't need to be dependent on friends. Why don't you just go to the mall?" And I'm like, okay, first of all, I don't want to go do something without my friends because it's weird. And going to the mall by myself is not safe. And he's like, "No, it's fine. It's just the mall. Go to the mall. Go make friends at the mall." And I'm like, okay, Dad. So I drive 20 minutes to the mall because it's in Minnesota. It's in Minneapolis, which is where we live. And so I drive the 20 minutes to the mall. I get there. I go to the food court that is above the Lego store, if any of you have been there, with the giant Lego statues. And I get some Thai food. I pay for my food. I turn around. I'm scanning the area for a table. And bam, a man walks up to me. Okay. And he asks me if I have anyone to sit with, if I want to sit with him at a table, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm laughing internally. Fine, why not? I'll sit with you. I'm craving attention anyway. So I sit down with this man at a table, and he doesn't have any food. That's a red flag. And I'm eating my food. He's asking me questions. He's asking, "How old are you? Are you here by yourself? Do you have plans to meet up with anybody?" Anyway, I answer. He also asks me, if I live in the area. And I tell him I'm 18. I live, I live in Minneapolis. I don't have plans today other than, I don't know, nothing really, and just stuff like that. And then he starts asking me if I recognize him. Do I know him from anywhere? No, I don't, okay? I don't recognize this man. I ask him if he's a YouTuber or something, if he does prank shows or something like that. He doesn't answer me. He just keeps asking, "Are you sure you don't know who I am? You really don't recognize me?" No, man, I don't recognize you. Stop asking. I'm eating my food. I don't know who you are. I've said that. I mean, I didn't get that sassy with him, but I was like, "No, I don't know who you are. Seriously." He was like, "Damn, okay." He did end up asking me a couple more times while I was walking around with him, because I did ask him to walk around the mall with me because I didn't want to do it by myself. So I'm walking around the mall with this man. I'm acting weird, okay? As the ladies from Crime Junkies say, stay alive, stay weird. So I'm staying weird. I'm holding this man's hand. I've got my arm linked in his arm. I am dragging him through the mall to multiple different stores, which in hindsight was very smart of me. I didn't do it. I wasn't doing that intentionally, but me walking around with this man for multiple hours in multiple different stores, I was getting lots of witnesses. I was on camera with this man. Okay. Very smart thing to do. So I actually I even took this man into Victoria's Secret, okay? I was trying to be, like, as creepy as possible. You're not the creep, I'm the creep, okay? Be afraid. And let me tell you, he was getting antsy. The longer I was with him, antsy is definitely the best word for it. He, like, started acting like he didn't want to be there anymore, and I was just persistent. Like, no, you're gonna hang out with me. I'm starving for attention right now. And you gave me attention the moment I got here, so we're doing this. So I was dragging him around the store, and at some point I snap a picture of him on Snapchat, with which I still have, actually. I saved it, and I'll put it up on the screen right now. But I took a Snapchat selfie of me with this man, and I sent it to my friend. I'm pretty sure that I sent it to my Snapchat story as well, which was also very smart, that anybody that saw my Snapchat story knew I was walking around with this strange man. So, more witnesses. And so I told my friend, like, I'm at the Mall of America. She let me know that she was also at the Mall of America with her boyfriend, and that's why I sent her that Snapchat picture. And she was like, dude, who the fuck is that? And I'm like, I don't know, some random man. And she was like, that's weird. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm bored. So, and she was like, well, be safe. And I was like, well, obviously. And like, I'd love to run into you. I know you're on a date, but that would be really cool to, like, possibly run into you in this giant mall. And actually, at some point later, this was the one stupid thing I did do, was he asked me if I would put my number in his phone. Because, listen, we started talking about sex, okay? After 3 hours, of course, that's going to come up, right? And I told him that I was going to meet up with my friend who's at the mall with her boyfriend. I was going to meet up with her neighbor, and we were going to, like, hang out. And so then he started asking me if I would come hang out with him, if I would go home with him. Like, and I was like, okay, first of all, I drove myself. I'm not going to ride anywhere with you. That's just not happening. I'm not going to follow you anywhere. That's not happening. Also, my dad had my location. He could track my phone location. So, like, obviously I'm not going to go anywhere stupid. That's just dumb. I don't want to get in trouble. And I was like, no, dude, I have plans already. I am not going anywhere with you. But he continued to ask, and then eventually he kind of just gave up, and he was like, well, why don't you put your number in my phone? Maybe we can meet up some other time. And I was stupid, and I put my real phone number, and I put my real name, and I took a selfie of myself and put it in as a contact in his phone. But another thing that was he only had his own phone number and his mom in his phone contacts. Please tell me I'm not the only one that thought that was weird as hell. I thought it was weird then, and I still think it's weird, and I still put my number in his phone like an idiot. But I never got any contact from him afterwards, so I guess I weirded him out. I was the creep. Good job, me. Anyway, so eventually we do actually end up running into my friend, and I drag him over to say hi to her, and he's definitely extremely uncomfortable, and my friend is giving the eyes, like, bruh, who are you? What are you doing? And her boyfriend is kind of uncomfortable with the situation too, and at some point this guy that I'm with, he's like, hey, look at the time, I really need to go, bye, and he just dips. He's like gone into the crowd, and I'm just like, wow, okay, bye. And my friend grabs me, and she's like, that was weird, that was sketchy, he gave me weird vibes, you are walking around with us until we're ready to go home. So I end up walking around with her and her boyfriend, and eventually her boyfriend is like, hey, I need to go home, do you want me to take you home, or do you want your friend to take you home? And I actually don't remember what we did, but she made it home. Eventually I went over to her house. I told my dad that I was going to her house. I also, if I remember correctly, I told my dad that I went to the mall, and a strange man came up to me almost immediately, and he was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, you sent an 18-year-old girl to the largest mall in the United States by herself and didn't expect her to be approached by a man? Are you serious? Like, are you kidding me? Dad, pay attention. Oh, and yes, I also met up with my friend's neighbor, if anyone was curious. So, happy Halloween to me then. um, but yeah, that's the end of the story. I creeped out the creep and survived. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. Bye.